Dear friends, this is part of the series of preparing for the shift associated with the cosmic Christ consciousness. And this short YouTube video is based on healing our inner wounded child. A child that has often been ignored by me in the past, and an inner child, my little boy, that I compromised on the altars of my own ego, stupidity, self-denial, and maybe an abusive streak. But I know for many, many years, that little boy that was abused has stayed with me throughout my life, crying out for my support, my love, my affection. But like so many, I ignored the cry for help, and I pretended that all was well. And every so often, I would have a blip that would remind me that I hadn't self-healed, that I had issues still unresolved in my journey. And I guess 14 years ago, I was led to a very powerful experience where I knew I had to face that little boy in me that was abused. And that abuse was healed, not by me, but by the power of the supreme loving God, through Jesus, the barefoot Galilean. As a Reiki master then, I was guided to prepare myself to be still in the presence of Mother Earth, in the presence of all the nature spirits, and in the presence of the angelic realm, and to call on my spiritual mama, my spiritual mother, Mother Mary, and ask Jesus, whom I'd given my life to from the age of 16 as a young nursing monk in a Catholic order. And my time had come to shift that corrosive, abusive streak that I was demonstrating in my relationships with others. And now that we're in this wonderful shift, preparing us for 2012, a culmination of energies that is spearheaded by the love of the cosmic Christ, by the love of Gaia, by the love of the ascended masters and all our spiritual teachers. And watching one of our community on live stream on Sunday evening, they talked about embracing the shift, of clearing out the garbage. That takes a lot of courage, don't you think? To face those fears, because the head convinces us we have to face them alone. And that, I believe, is not the workings of the Christ, the cosmic Christ. It is more the workings of the Antichrist, who seeks to rape our divinity, to deny our heart pure love. And now I would like to just say to you that I can only speak to you from my own personal journey. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not here to ask you to feel sorry for me, because what happened to me all those years ago, I'm free from that memory now. And I can begin to heal myself each day. But there's a beautiful saying, isn't there? To thine own self be true. What does that really mean for you today in relation to any inner childhood issues, whether it's abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual, religious abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, peer pressure? That's abuse. And that inner child of love and light and blessing who came into this incarnation with us, if it has been denied positive love, light and blessing, then it will behave in such a way that will lead the adult off their path, leave them fractured and wounded, as it did me. And you could say I spent 48 years of my life in entrapment because of fear, because I blamed myself for my abuse. But I was reminded 14 years ago in a prison cell that it was not my fault. It was not my fault because my innocence had been compromised by one who was an abuser themselves, and they were a victim of abuse in their childhood. And I had a choice to either embrace it with the support of the angelic realm and the Christ love, or abandon it and pretend that nothing had happened. And I know from the many beautiful souls that I have met on my journey, both as a nurse for 38 years, as a therapist for over 14 years, and as a counselor for about 18 years, and now as a monk for a number of years, that there are many beautiful souls that I have been so privileged to meet, who are faced with the same choices that I was faced with. Quite a few walk away because it's too daunting, it's too painful. And those who've been guided to stay here at our little monastery for one-to-one support, everything has been done lovingly, without pressure. The whole format of preparing them to embrace their inner woundedness is done with extreme care and love, exercising sensitivity, compassion and empathy. But let's come back to that inner wounded child. If we have an inner wounded child, don't you think its cries are for an affirmation that they are loved, not rejected? And the times when we ignore it, we are actually condemning it. We're denying it healing love. And it's my belief now, looking back on my life, for the 48 years I denied my heart the opportunity to embrace my little Sean, my inner wounded child. I committed a great crime. A crime of pure, unadulterated selfishness and self-indulgence, where I thought nothing of myself really as a child of God. And I guess my fear was rooted in my upbringing and that low self-esteem and low self-worth I was encouraged to nurture. And running away made it worse. Because when I hit all-time lows, as we do, don't we? Then that inner child would scream out for help. But thank God I was given the courage. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. In fact, it was the most beautiful healing experience of love, where I held the hand of the Christ, and he held the hand of the abuser and the abusers throughout my life, those who raped my divinity by putting me down. And he facilitated the healing process through the words, I forgive myself. So the Essenic affirmations, I forgive myself, actually was the key to unlock my troubled, traumatic heart. And now I am free. And if you are struggling, there is help. And it's not as bad as the head convinces us that it will be. It is a beautiful process of empowering the heart to self-love, to self-heal, and to embrace our inner little boy or girl, our inner child, and say, I love you, and I forgive myself for hurting you. Namaste.